All right, so here's the question I got from one of my students. She says, "Hi Jimmy, I have a problem. Every time I'm in social situations, I keep looking at my phone because secretly I feel awkward. Instead of talking to people, I pretend to do something. How can I overcome this? Please help." Okay, so this is very common actually. And this also used to happen to me back in the day. Whenever I was going to any social function or business function, I would oftentimes be on my phone. Not because I had to, but because I felt so uncomfortable being out there surrounded by people that I just didn't know what to do. And when you see groups of people talking to one another, right? Everyone seems to have a great time and you feel anxious and you feel socially awkward and you're not talking to anybody. It feels even more awkward just to be standing there, kind of looking around, don't know what to do with your arms. So you get a drink and you hold the drink like this and maybe you kind of smile, haha, as if you're having fun, but you by yourself. It feels weird. So what do? Move the drink to the other hand, take the phone. Oh, wow. Oh, this is so important. Ooh. You start getting into your emails, you start sending text messages, or even worse, you pretend that you are using your phone without actually using it. I'm curious if you've ever done this, right? You don't have to admit. I feel like it happened pretty much to, I don't want to say everyone, but almost everyone. We all had those situations when we just felt awkward, we felt off. Now the problem happens when this is something that happens to you on a regular basis. Every time you go to any social interaction, social function, or a business networking event, or even team meeting, you are on your phone just pretending to do things or pretending to do phone calls because you feel awkward. So how can you overcome this? Well, I'm going to give you a radical solution. And you may not like this, you probably will not like this, but it's guaranteed to help you. Next time you go to any networking event or any social type of interaction, community event, whatever it is, I want you to leave your phone. Just don't take your phone. Now you may say, well, Jimmy, but I need my phone. What if somebody asks me for my email? What if I want to connect with someone? What if I have to check something? You don't understand, right? What if my husband calls me? I need my phone. And it's funny because actually I was talking about it with Eduardo before this filming session. We were having some coffee and he said to me, listen, man, it's interesting how back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, we had those little phones and we were so happy with them. Right? You would pull out those little tiny Nokia, or you could just send text messages and you would be so happy and you didn't feel like you needed anything else. And oftentimes you would just set up a meeting with your friends, you would say, hey, let's meet in 1 hour. You go there, you meet in the town hall square or you meet in front of that specific tree or a shop and you have a great time. And you don't even think about having a phone. But nowadays, it almost feels like your phone is the extension of your body. I should say of your brain, right? Oftentimes, we feel panicky when we don't have our phones with us. And so many of us even take our phones to the toilet. Like literally, we are glued to them that we can't even take care of our business there without holding a phone. And I do believe that it's the disease of the 21st century and it can really cripple your social life and your business life if you allow your phone to basically succumb into your comfort zone and not going out there and pushing yourself to interact with other people. If you want to get better at social interactions, if you want to make friends, if you want to connect with people, if you want to get more business, you just have to go there and you have to talk to people. So again, leave your phone at home, test yourself. Next time you go out there, just treat it as a comfort zone challenge. Leave your phone. You can always take your business cards with you. That's fine, right? So you can exchange contact details, but leave your phone at home, go in there, and you will see that you will have no other option but to talk to people, because as you are standing there, not knowing what to do with your hands, holding your drink, maybe looking around, at some point you'll realize, well, there is nowhere to go. I have to be here. I'm here already. Well, let me talk to someone. And then you may push yourself to talk to the waiter or talk to the bartender, depending where you are, or talk to someone you already know, but you will be forced to initiate those interactions. Now, here's the thing. With social interactions, it's just about warming yourself up. So obviously, when you enter a room full of people, you may not be in your talkative state. You may not be in your social state. It's kind of like with jumping into cold water. So if you go to the beach, let's say it's your last day, last evening maybe, of your holiday with your friends, and everyone says, hey, let's jump into the water, it's gonna be amazing. But you know that the water is really cold. You don't want to do it, but eventually they manage to persuade you to do it. Well, you take off your clothes and you get in. And how does it feel? Well, you feel the shivers, right? You may be shaken a little bit. You don't want to go in there. They tell you, hey, just come in, just get in. Eventually you get in and you still feel cold. But what happens after? Well, when you stay there for a bit longer, at some point your body adjusts to this new environment, especially if you come out and you get back in, come out, get back in. Eventually you adjust to that cold temperature, and in a weird way you start feeling warm. Now the same thing happens with social interactions. When you go out there, when you talk to people, well, initially it will always feel a little bit weird, but as you keep talking to more and more people, you get into your flow. And again, the problem is that a lot of times our phones don't allow us to get into the flow because we don't even begin that transformation. So by leaving your phone, you force yourself to initiate some type of small talk with different people. You can start small, right? You can start with the low-hanging fruit, with people that you feel comfortable with, and then gradually build up that flow state, and eventually you will find yourself interacting with people and having a great time. And look, I'm talking about it based on my personal experiences as well, because over the years I had to work on myself. A lot of you know that many years ago I used to struggle with awkwardness and social anxiety and confidence issues, also imposter syndrome at some point. So I know how weird, how debilitating it feels to go into social environment or business environment where everyone assumes that I'm social and that I'm confident because they look at me and they have a perception, oh, this guy seems confident. So now you feel like there is certain mask, there is certain image you gotta live up to, but deep inside you don't feel comfortable. Deep inside you know that you are not an extrovert, you are introvert. Give me 20 books and leave me in a little hut in a forest for a month, I'm gonna be happy. I'm not gonna be screaming for people, hey, I need people, I'll be happy. Maybe give me a dog or a cat, I'm gonna be even more happy. I can stay for 2 months. That's how I am, right? But people didn't know that. So I had to push myself to go out there. And what I've learned is that at the beginning, that's the hardest part. But once you push yourself to go out there, to initiate a little interaction, it gets better and better and better. And that's why oftentimes in the past, whenever I entered some type of social environment, maybe when I was traveling by myself, entering a party situation or going to a business networking event, I would get myself to start some type of interaction as quickly as possible. Because the last thing you want is to wait until your self-doubts creep in. You don't want to wait for that. So what you want to do is you want to go in there and ask yourself, who can I talk to right now? And sometimes it's literally talking to the bartender or talking to the waiter. Just go and say, hey, what's going on? Hey, do you know, like, what time does it get really busy here? Or like, hey, I'm wondering, what type of food do you recommend here? You could ask about anything, but the point is you want to open yourself up. Then, of course, if you know somebody, you can talk to those people. Now, the danger with that is that very often we stay within our bubble. If you are with someone that you know, it may be very tempting to say, well, I don't have my phone, so I have to talk to people. Let me talk to my friend Mike. But that's easy. You know Mike, you've been hanging out, and you gotta ask yourself, what is the leverage of you talking to Mike tonight? You already know him, and you are here to meet other people. So that's another danger. You have to be aware of that. You know, you can start by talking to people that you know, that make you feel comfortable, but quickly progress to opening yourself up to start interactions with other people. So important. Now, one thing I have to tell you is that just you watching this video pushes you further because it gives you awareness. The chances are, as you're watching this video, you are listening, but also you're probably recalling situations from your life when you were this wallflower just standing there not knowing what to do, when you felt awkward, when you didn't push yourself, when you were using your phone instead of going out there to talk to people. You're probably thinking about those situations, and everything starts with self-awareness. So now that you're becoming self-aware, now that you're hearing some of those examples, and you can start shifting your mindset, and you can make a decision that next time you will push yourself, and it all starts with that. Now, will you change everything overnight? Of course not, right? It won't happen overnight. But if you make little changes every single day, well, eventually you may find yourself being a social master where you can enter any situation, whether it's social life, business, dinner party, regular party, art exhibition, whatever it is. And you'll find yourself just walking in, comfortable, talking to people, introducing people to one another, becoming a connector, right? That's the next level. And honestly, anyone can get there with enough practice.